So now we are going to talk about strategic recruiting. So first of all, what do we mean by strategy? Strategy means to have some framework or guidance for a task. So that is called a strategy. So organizations also use strategy when they are doing the recruitment in their organizations. So these are the stages of the strategic recruiting process. First of all, the organization needs to do some HR planning. Then the organization needs to decide what are the responsibilities of the HR managers and the operational managers. And then the strategic recruiting decisions are taken, and then the recruiting methods are employed. So here the strategic recruiting decisions and the methods, these things would be discussed. The labor market conditions that we see in the different places are shown over here. So first of all, we have the labor force. From there, we get the applicant population, and from there, we get the pool of applicant, and then finally, we get the individuals that are selected. So, for example, you have the labor force population, which means starting from 18 years, say up to 60 years, that is the labor force population. From there, you have applicant population. That means, suppose you need people who are graduates or maybe in a certain field. So, that is the applicant population. Then from there, we have the applicant pool, that means the people who are applying for the job. And from there, we are using the recruiting process to finalize our candidates. So these definitions are given over here. So the next section, different labor markets and recruiting. This is omitted from our syllabus. So the next part, which is strategic recruiting decisions, this is in our syllabus. So in the strategic recruiting decisions, organizations need to come up with certain decisions. That is, whether the organization will do the recruitment based on inside the organization. That means whether they will do the recruitment themselves or whether they will outsource the recruiting process. So these are the typical responsibilities of the HR unit and the managers in the recruiting process. So if you go through the list, you will see that the HR managers or HR unit's responsibility is to make the plan, make the forecast, then start the recruitment process, give the advertisement, conduct the recruitment efforts, doing these things. And the responsibility of the HR managers is to decide what sort of competencies are required from the employees or from the candidates, and then evaluating the candidates and deciding whether the recruitment has been successful or it has been a failure. So next we are going to talk about the recruiting presence and image. So in order to have good candidates in the organization, in order to attract good candidates, the image of the company is very important, and this particular image is referred to as employment branding or image. So having good candidates attracted towards the organization is important so that the pool of candidates is good. So in order to do that, the organization needs to have a good employment brand. The image of the organization should be very positive. People should have good image and they should have a positive thinking about the organization, about its work culture. Then the recruiters need to be trained properly so that they can do their tasks, their jobs properly. Then we have whether the organization will go for regular recruitment or they will go for flexible staffs. So in case of flexible staffs, employees work in the organization, but they do not give maybe 8 hours a day, or they are not, their working time is not fixed. So these are called flexible staff. So temporary workers and independent workers, these are examples of flexible staff. Temporary workers are those who work for a certain time based on the payment for that day or for the week. Independent contractors are those who are hired by the organization for a job. They do the work and then once they complete the project, their contract is ended. Organizations need to think about the recruitment and the diversity as well in the organizations. That is, what sort of diversity should be maintained in the organization. So when considering these aspects, the organizations need to also think about issues like the compliance issues, then the employment advertisement, and these other issues. The next part, employment advertising, is not in our syllabus. Organizations also recruit non-traditional workers from time to time. So here this table explains to us the advantages and disadvantages of the internal and the external candidates. So you can see that internal candidates have some advantage, like the recruiter would be the person who is being recruited will feel positive, will be more motivated. Organizations will have more information about the internal candidates. Costs would be lower. These are the benefits. The advantages is the same people are working in the organization, so there might be risks of like inbreeding. That means the same type of concepts or knowledge will be carried out in the organization. In case of external candidates, it is the advantage. The people who are coming from outside can bring more ideas, fresh ideas to the organization. But the risk is that the company may not be able to always do the assessment properly. So in order to do the internal recruiting, organizations can use internal databases, employees database. Organizations maintain a database of their employees, their knowledge, skills, abilities. Organizations can use this to identify who are suitable employees who fit this job. The organizations can give postings inside the organization's websites and other notice boards. This can be done to address the internal employees. Then through recruitment, the management can promote or transfer the employees from one post to another. So this will give new work opportunities to the people who are being promoted or who are transferred. Managers can use an employee-focused recruiting approach, so they can get referrals from the current employee who are working inside the organization. They can refer their friends or other people whom they know who are suitable for the vacancies. The managers can also recruit former employees or applicants. So the managers can maintain a database of the people who are working, who worked and who left the company, and from that database, the recruiters can hire good employees or candidates. The sources of the external recruits are usually college and university recruiting. So the organizations can get good CVs from universities and colleges. They can maintain a continuous relationship with these institutions. Then recruiters can go to vocational training institutes from where they can get good resources. This is especially applicable for jobs which require technical skills to a large extent. Trade unions can be also sources of good resources, and employment agencies and headhunters can also provide resources, especially in case of top positions, senior management positions, where the number of applicants is usually low or candidates don't apply directly in those posts for the risk of getting like identified that that person is applying. So employment agencies and headhunters can provide CVs of these people. The professional and trade associations can also be sources of resumes of external candidates, media sources. So this is an example of what should be included in an effective recruiting ad. In order to make the recruiting ad more effective, the recruiters need to think from the perspective of the candidates and also from the perspective of the company. So important information like these things, job title, location of the job, maybe sometimes the pay range, closing date, all these things are very important information for the applicants, and these should be included in the advertisement. Also qualifications that are required from the candidates. Recruiters can also go for job fairs or other events where the companies can be promoted, and many potential applicants will get to know about these companies. Usually, these job fairs are conducted by academic institutions. So, universities sometimes arrange these job fairs and where they invite different companies to go and present themselves and also collect CVs. Nowadays, the internet recruiting is also becoming very popular. So, especially in case of work from home times, the e-recruiting places like job boards and other places, online recruiting agencies can also assist the companies in the recruiting process. So internet recruiting has advantages and disadvantages. So in terms of advantage, it can save costs and money. In case of disadvantage, it is sometimes difficult for the recruiters to understand the candidates properly. Also, privacy is another issue. So, if the data of the applicants get leaked, then it is going to be a severe problem, both for the applicants and as well as for the organizations. Social networks are also becoming very popular nowadays. We see a lot of recruitment activities, advertisements in Facebook, Twitter, all these places. So legal issues are there as well in case of internet recruiting, and more regulations are being imposed in these areas with time. So the next section, that is recruiting evaluation and metrics, is not in the syllabus. So from page 216,